Hello, Creative Station followers. It's Peter Fujiwara back again with episode 7. And this episode is on sound design and titling. Now that you've done your big shoot, let's see how we can enhance your film. Sound design is a process of adding sounds in order to produce what is called a soundscape. These additional layered sounds serve to enhance the telling of your story by providing a natural but precise auditory experience, which mimics reality but which could not be captured when you were filming. Major motion pictures use these amazing creatives called Foley artists who work in these soundproof studios with every recording device you can imagine and with tons of props which allow you to create different forms of sounds. So weapons or little sort of sandboxes with different materials in them so you can make different footprint sounds like water or branches or sand. Anything like that will produce the sounds that are needed in different films. Now let's go on to creating a soundscape in iOS iMovie. Now to begin, what I want to show you is how to use your computer and your iPad in order to record sounds. What you do is you get a cable like this, which is a TRRS to TRRS, plug in your TRS to lightning cable, plug it into your iPad, plug it into your computer, and any sound that you play will be recorded onto your iPad. And the application that I use is Voice Memo. And as you can see here, I have recorded several different sounds, storm sounds, that I just played off of my computer off a website that I found. And so now I have distant thunder, storm sounds, and actual thunderclaps that I'm going to enhance into a video that I took of a big storm that passed near my house. So let's go and do that. First, we'll run iMovie and create a new project, a movie. And I'm going to find the clip of the storm, which is here. Click Create Movie. And there we go. Now I'm just going to play this back so you can see it. And as you can see, there are definitely storm sounds there, but it's fairly subdued because it is the microphones from my camera. So what I'm going to do is I am going to turn those sounds off. You can see the waveform there. I hit volume and I'm just going to turn those off and the waveforms go away. Now I'm going to create my own soundscape. So to do that, I hit the plus sign and now I'm going to tap on audio at the bottom here. And the cool thing is that before I used to share these particular sounds by going into Voice Memo and say clicking a sound and going share and then going, and you could still do it this way, but it is much longer, and just going into iMovie here, copy to iMovie, and that would drop it into the iMovie. Now, instead of doing that though, what I discovered was if I stay in iMovie, and I go in here and I go into My Music, not the sound effects, and then go into Imported, I get the list of all the sounds that I've imported into the various sound apps that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the different sounds here, and I'm going to take the wind in the pines here, tap that, and I'm just going to drop it in. Okay, so now I've got that sound in there. I'll just tap here and scroll along. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the volume up on this just a bit, just so I can see the waveform a touch. So now it sounds like this. There we go. And then I'm going to bring it back to the beginning. I'm going to add in, I'm going to layer up some additional storm sounds. So in this one, I am going to add in heavy rain. Now this particular clip is very loud. You can tell by the waveform that this is very loud, how tall it gets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the volume down on that to close to where the wind in the pines is. So that way, still a little too loud. I think take that down just a touch. And let's see how that sounds. That's better. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some thunderclaps to give it some reality. So I have a thunderclap sound here, and I'm just going to add that in right at this point. And then notice on this particular one, the thunderclap is actually right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate some of the build-up sound to that and some of the sound afterwards. That way I have a short clip that's a thunderclap. And in reality, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have two thunderclaps. I'm going to grab that one, hit action, and there's an option to duplicate. And so now I'm going to have a second thunderclap, which I am going to just move over slightly to there. Now let's listen to this particular section of the video. Oh, you can hear that subtle thunderclap? Let's make it louder. So I'm going to bring this one up, and I'm going to bring that volume up, and I'll bring this one up, and I'll bring that volume up. And you can see the waveform getting larger. And obviously I could make one louder and one softer, but since they're so close together, I'm going to make them the same level. Let's listen to it now. So incredible how we can change what this sounded like from the original to it still sounds real, but much, much richer, just because we layered sounds in our Soundscape. So and all done in iOS iMovie. Now let's move on to titling. Titling can be used in various films. Now, obviously you have your titling at the beginning and your credits at the end, but if you're doing a documentary, you'd want to put in like someone's name show up below. That's called a lower third. And there are different ways to achieve this result in iOS iMovie, and I'm going to show you 3 different methodologies. So let's take a look. Now, using the same film that we used for the sound design, you can simply add a title by clicking on a clip, hitting the titles, and just adding a title in. So I could add in one of the standard titles, and all you have to do is type the text in on the screen. However, this clip is quite long, and I don't want the title to appear on the entire clip. So if you just want it to be on part of the clip, which all you have to do is decide how long you want it to be on, tap on the clip, go to action, and then you can split the clip. So now once you've split the clip, it only appears on the clip that you've produced in the first place there. And so I'll just type in here, and I'll type in the word storm. I won't fill in the rest of the text. Anyway, but that's a simple way to add in a title. Now, the other ways to add in titling is a little bit more subtle. Instead of using iOS iMovie to put the title in, we're going to use a different iOS app. And in this case, we're going to use Keynote. Now in Keynote, what I've produced is a little file with a chroma key green background, and I've put in some moving text in 2 slides using Magic Move. Now, if I export this as a movie, and I'm going to do it 1080 because that's what I'm shooting in, and I go export. And so what it's going to do is it'll create that film and then ask me where do I want to put it. And it's the share screen that I get, which allows me to drop it directly into iMovie. So let's take a look. Share. I go to the ... and I'm going to go directly to iMovie. And you get to choose which film. It's the last one that I was producing. And this is where it's interesting. You don't just add it to the movie. Because it's a chroma key green background, I'm going to say hit add as green blue screen. And it will automatically remove the green, as you can see here. Okay, so it automatically removed the green. And so let's take a look at it. And it automatically brings in and then removes the text because that's the way it was produced in Keynote. So one of the other things that people always ask me is like, I want to put text on a blank screen. How do I do that? And the simplest way to do that is, again, through Keynote. If you go back into here, and I'm going to go back into my presentations, I create blank, essentially blank transitions between two screens. In this case, this is my white one. I have a black one as well. And then I can set the duration that I want this clip to be. So when I share this out and I export just like I did before as a movie, and I go export, and again, this takes the same amount of time. And then I just share it into iMovie again. Into the same movie. And in this case, I do add it to the movie because it'll add it to where the playhead is. And now I have a blank clip that I can add text to. So if I want to add text to this, I could just add text like that. So using Keynote integrated into iMovie allows you to have significantly better text examples. Now that brings us to the end of yet another episode. And I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope you have an idea that now what you can do is you can enhance your film with sound, and you have many methods of adding titling into your films. So your little assignment is take the film that you created and can you enhance it by adding sound and titles to it? Now, coming this Friday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing a little show and tell of different iPhone and iPad accessories that can enhance the production of your films. So I hope you can join us. See you then.